In this lecture, we will discuss the role of the places, people and activities carried out abroad as potential sources of risk. Let's start from the places that you will visit. Suppose that the scope of your visit takes you to a neighborhood with a high criminality rate. You might fear that there is a high probability that you could be mugged. However, you should understand that both your mindset and your actual behavior matter very much in relation to the place where you find yourself. If you become used to the idea of moving inside a dangerous neighborhood, you could avoid the truly dangerous spots. At the same time, your actual behavior may put you in a difficult spot, even in an environment that could be considered safe in terms of standard metrics. For example, if you go through a police control and you appear excessively stressed or worried, your behavior may be misunderstood. The principle of prudence is relevant here too. When planning a trip, you would like to understand the broader geographical context of the areas that you intend to visit and gather general information at least. These may include places you will visit only once, as well as places where you will spend most of your time or that you will visit frequently. The information available on the general context of the neighborhood can be cross-checked with other type of data. It always helps to familiarize yourself with these spaces before actually going there. For instance, you could have a preliminary look at these environments through all the available instruments such as Google Maps or other available GPS services. Getting a glimpse at how the streets nearby look like can provide you information on whether the city neighborhood can be considered friendly for foreigners. You should not forget that the place defines a space where you will carry out different activities, may they be walking around or sitting down for a coffee. Places and behavior always go hand in hand. The way you feel about a surrounding environment has an effect on your ability to behave normally in the way that you would at home, to act rationally and to cope with stressful events. More generally, a visual inspection may give you clues about two types of issues. It may provide information on red flags about the overall surrounding environment, such as limited street lighting. It may give you a sense of comfort or discomfort. This is a warning sign about your personal attitude and ability to move around in a place with which you are not well acquainted. Let's move to the next characteristic, namely the people you will meet with. Before you leave for your travel, you may provide key information to your contacts or colleagues located in the country of destination. You may communicate the objectives of your trip and the schedule for your planned activities. Once you have arrived to destination, you may carry out your research in an individual manner, or you may take part to working groups. You may take other trips alone or with other colleagues, possibly from around the world. You will meet people that you may have met earlier and make new acquaintances. You should ask yourself how well you know the people that are aware of the details of your trip. For instance, you may want to ask yourself where they come from and where they have lived for the past few years. In other words, you should consider whether there are elements about your contacts' lives that may not make you feel perfectly comfortable or confident about their reliability. For instance, think about the case of a colleague currently based in the country of destination that comes from a conflicted region and that has already voiced political opinions against the local government. Beyond the planned or expected occasions for social gatherings, you are likely to get in touch with a number of people that you have not planned to meet. There can be circumstances for which the possibility of unplanned or unexpected acquaintances or contact should be dealt with cautiously. The main purpose is to refrain from generating unwanted or undesired attention from the local authorities, from groups of interest, or from individuals that may question, directly or indirectly, the nature of your activities in the country of destination. For instance, this may happen in countries where there is an ongoing or there has been a conflict, or where on-site research collides with the prevailing customs of parts of the local population. It may simply arise as a byproduct of police corruption in countries with weak institutions. Suppose you're invited for a research visit at a foreign institution. depending on the general context. You may want to consider whether unexpected members could be added to your team at some point. You may want to understand whether only vetted people are typically allowed as visitors, or whether anyone can enter the premises of the research institute. Finally, it is good practice to think about what activities you will carry out in the country or destination to fulfill the goal of your trip. Suppose you're looking to obtain specific information data. You may do this by interviewing people, directly or indirectly. You may be provided with the information by a public or private institution. You may need to use specific equipment, such as a laboratory or a computer infrastructure. Regardless of the purpose of your staying abroad, you may carry out both planned and unplanned activities. This is when the principle of prudence takes an important role. Are there reasons to think that you could find yourself in a position where you may have to do something undesirable to achieve your goals? For instance, depending on the specific circumstances, dealing with civil servants for the collection of data could imply that you may receive demands for briberies. This may put you in a difficult spot, especially when you find yourself abroad, in context you're not familiar with. To sum up, think about the sources of risk means that you should consider the places you may visit, the people you may meet, and the activities you may carry out in the country or destination. A rational approach to your personal safety implies that you should think about the potential sources of risk that may or may not materialize in practice. You should ask yourself rational questions before leaving for the travel and consider the implications of these questions for trip planning. This needs to be complemented with your assessment of the situations you will experience directly when you are abroad. The idea of prudence suggests that you should refrain from underestimating the potential sources of risk, both before leaving and after your travel has begun.